Happy Friday! I am coming to you from Ocean East in Ormond Beach, Florida. The office looks a little different, doesn't it? Thought I would give you an ocean soundtrack to go along with Vicky's soundtrack today. And coming up with a title this week was a little bit more challenging than normal, simply because for the first time, I think, maybe in my life, I gave myself permission to just shut the brain down, have it be quiet, not work. I didn't do any work this week, and for people who really know me well, that's a flipping miracle. So as I was chatting last night with my friend Mo, who through her generosity, I am able to be here this week, we were bantering back and forth, and one of the things that was one of my observations was that we often get caught in a story of what our life is rather than, what's really going on. So the topic for this week is, do you want your life to be a story? Do you want it to be about what you've come through, what you've experienced, what your past was, how somebody talked to you, how they treated you? Do you want that to be what your life is, or do you want to have a life? Because if you're caught in that story of where you've been, you're not present and you're not creating anything moving forward. So as we were talking, it rounded out to why I came this week. I actually, besides enjoying Maureen's company, knew that I needed to shift some of my own perspectives in my life and to let go of some of the limitations that I've been holding on to around my own life. And some of that is the stuff that has to evolve naturally, right? We have to walk through something in order to understand it. And we have to be able to see it from all these different perspectives, if you want to. I mean, again, you can stay caught in the story. So many people do. They'll tell you about their childhood over and over again, even when you don't ask, when you're in line at the grocery store and they just start spilling everything. And you're like, I just want to get my greens and go home. But that is because that's where they're living, right? They're in that story of, that happened to me, so this always has to be my life. And when you go through changes in life, we all will, this is life, and it can be tempting to stay in what's not working and to continue to reiterate the crap, rather than pointing out just what is so joyful, what is beautiful about this life. And my challenge to you this week would be to step out of that place of some seemingly comfort. And it's only comfortable because you know it. Like, so many people come to me and say, well, I don't want to step out of my comfort zone. But why not? Like, if you stay in your comfort zone, you're never going to grow. If you don't push a little bit or challenge yourself, you're never going to go beyond where you already are, and you're just going to be spinning your wheels. So for me, deciding to have and take a vacation, actually power down, stare at the ocean. I sunbathed more in this week than I have in my entire 48 years, and I did it joyfully. Like, I really didn't have to be anywhere. And I really hope you hear one of the little guys in the background, because he has the best voice, and we've been listening to it all week when he calls his father. It's really hard to be, in your story and in your crap when you hear da-da. He's just hysterical. So looking to the things that are around you that brighten up your day, not just the sunshine or the ocean, but that smile of somebody that you meet on the street, or it can be a memory, a loving memory that you have of someone, but allow the memory to be there in the lightheartedness rather than, oh, well, they croaked and they're no longer here, and then now that becomes my story. And I know how hard it is to move forward in that. I truly get it. But somewhere down inside, we have a resiliency. that I believe everybody has. And if we don't access that, we are not living. You're just repeating a story over and over and over again. So going to be short and sweet today because I have to grab my flight out. Some of the ways that you can do and shift that story is by looking at it. Often we put the blinders on and we just don't want to look at what's back there. That's another way of staying in your story, right? Some people will tell you all about their story and some people don't even want to look at their experience. So we have to decide if you're stuck in the moment because you're looking in your rearview mirror or because you're afraid to look through the windshield. So for someone like myself whose partner has passed or divorce or a breakup, you have to look at what your life looks like without that being there. And that can really mess with your equilibrium. It can make new circumstances very challenging, but it can also create a sense of adventure or what ifs, like what could possibly happen. And it doesn't have to change a lot. Like this week, one of the things we did was a helicopter ride. I've always wanted to do that. Howard would have been on board with that. He hated heights, but he would have been on board with the helicopter ride. And I could have not done it because I didn't get to do it with him. But that's not fair to me. That's not fair to where is the fun in my life going to come from if it's always based on what we could have done together. So if you're staying in your past or afraid to move through your now and your future, you are not serving self, nor are you serving those around you. And it makes for kind of a dull life. Like you move through and you're 5-10 years down the line and realize that you didn't try anything. You didn't step outside your comfort zone. So I'm going to challenge you this week to find one thing that's going on within you that that you would like to do. Something that you've always wanted to do that's absolutely applicable, that you could have happen. Like last night there was karaoke here and some of the people getting up, they were scared shitless, but they did it. One woman rocked Patsy Cline like you wouldn't believe. So something along those lines. It doesn't have to be a huge investment. And it nobody needs to know about it. Only you. Like, come from the heart space. Hi, Amy, Kelly, and Mary. Thanks for joining me early so I can be up in the air during regular broadcasting time. So what are you going to choose this week that has you step just a bit over that line, might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but yet also gives you that feeling of being lit up? Because one of the things you're missing by staying in that middle zone is you are missing the feeling of excitement about what life is meant to be. So, and I don't want you to miss that. I really want you to have that. Can you tell what the southern weather does to my hair? Look at the flippy floppies and everything going on. I got curly cues all over the place. So, go to a different climate and see what happens to your hair. It's a good thing. So what I'm looking for is for you to really appreciate who you are, but also to have this full-bodied, experiential action that is called life. Now, I'm going to dip the screen here a little bit so you can see my shirt. It says, beautiful reflection. Now, one of the reasons that I wore this shirt is because if you were walking at me, these letters are backwards, right? Because everything in Facebook and camera life gets flipped if you're doing it from the selfie point of view. So I thought this shirt would be perfect for today, created by All Soul on the back. Sue and Tony Zanaboni, like the best names ever. And you can get them online, allsoul.com, I believe. Sorry, guys, if I messed that up. The shirt reminds me that when I look in the mirror and I see the words that say beautiful reflection, that's my job. Like, I'm in charge of what my reflection is, No one out there in the world is in charge of whether I live a full experienced life or not, except me. So it's important to myself because I ask you to do these things, but it's mostly important because I'm doing my soul's journey, just like everybody else is. So get yourself a shirt that has all kinds of jumbled letters. And yes, when you're walking around, people stare at your chest, but hey, kind of used to that. So but when you look in the mirror, something is reflected back at you that raises your vibration. And they're organic and they're so comfy. So get yourself that gift. And hey, Jenny, and be your beautiful reflection of what your life is for this week, and then keep extending it. All right. So I hope you guys have all had a wonderful week. I'm heading back to the beautiful Berkshires. I love, love, love the ocean, but I miss my mountains. And I will see all of you soon. And I hope you have a great week. Thank you. Bye.